As you guys can see by the title of the video, I was convicted. And you might be wondering, Tro, what does convicted mean? What does it mean to be convicted? And it basically means, in a sense of Christianity, in a biblical sense, it means like the Holy Spirit within you was kind of like confronted to change for the better. Kind of like it's kind of like cognitive dissonance, which means like I'll give you an example. Let's say you punch a kid in the face, right? Your conscious, your self conscious is like, man, like why do we do that? We shouldn't be punching kids. But like in a moment, like you were so angry, you just punched a kid. Man, I don't think I explained that right. Basically, it's like confliction within yourself. Like you can be doing better, and you should do better. That's what conviction basically is. And I was convicted about a week ago. So let me tell you the story. As you know, I work for Home Depot Tool Rental. Shout out. Hold up. Shout out. And yeah, I work in tool rental, which means like we rent out equipment involving like cutting up concrete, breaking concrete, like those large excavator tools with the big old scoopers or like the big old buckets at the bottom, stuff like that. And it was maybe like around, I'm gonna say like 7:30, like 7:30 p.m. And it's slow around this time of the year. It gets slow in tool rental, and I had this customer come in. Now, at hindsight, he looked very like, if I didn't know better, I would say this individual has schizophrenia. He was very like, very, very rattled, very on edge. He was always like, he always told me throughout this conversation. We had like a 2 hour conversation, but I'm gonna try to cut out all the fat. But he was talking to me about like the government watching him and the CIA watching him. And let me back up a little bit. So he walks in. He has a reservation for a vacuum cleaner, a wet dry vac, and he's on the phone with his dad and he's talking, but he's like whispering. He's kind of like talking like this, like talking to his dad, like yeah. And I was like, I didn't want to interrupt, but I'm like, sir, I need your driver's license so I could help you out. And he was like, oh man, I don't have none of that. I don't want the government watching me. And immediately I was like, oh god. I was like, oh no, I got one of these lunatics to deal with. And I was like, do you have any type of ID? And he was like, I got a military ID. So he gives me his military ID. This thing expired 7 years ago. It expired 7 years ago, and I'm like, do you have anything else, sir? This expired 7 years ago. And like he went from talking to his dad, put the phone down, and looked me dead in my face. And he was like, nah, man, I don't want the government watching me. They're always listening to us. They're always, I got cameras on me because like the information I know. And like he just seems very like, the best way I can describe this individual, he was in 10 places at once mentally. He was in the present, in the future, in the past, thinking about this, thinking about what he needs to do. Like he was everywhere. That's the best way I can explain it. Like you ever talk to a person that's just all over the place? Me, no, but he was like that. And he's talking about like the government watching him and stuff, and I'm kind of like, what you mean by that? And he's just talking about like he was like during, I know YouTube is kind of iffy about this word, during what happened in 2020, the big event. I refused to take the event's antidote. If you guys are catching my drift. And he was like, I was living in Australia at the time, and because I wouldn't take the event's antidote, they locked me up in prison. And I was like, damn, that's kind of severe. He was like, yeah, like they locked me up because I wouldn't take it. And when they finally let me out, I fled to America. And I was like, cool. And then he started going on this whole spiel about, as you guys know, I'm Christian. I read my Bible. I try to read it every day. Sometimes I slip up, but I'm Christian. And he was talking about how like everything happening today is still tied up into the Bible. He was talking about how people like to try to make it come off as like the Bible is like this ancient text that's outdated and it's just history, right? But he was talking about how Everything that happened in the Bible is still happening today. It's just a lineage from the past. And I'm listening to him because now, like, the things he's talking about, I like, I look into for fun. I research this stuff. I watch videos about it, and the things he's saying are actually true. And he's talking about, here's the paper right here. He gave me this paper. Look, he gave me this paper dissecting words. It's called Entomology, the history of words. And he was like talking about all this stuff. Like, yeah, this doesn't mean this. This means that. Like, for example, author, authority, author means God. Like, if you look at the origins of a word, because he was saying English isn't an original language; it's a language of languages, which is very true. And he was talking about you need to follow the history of the word and find its core meaning, its concrete definition. And like he was just, I ain't gonna lie, y'all, he was spitting. We talked for like 2 hours, and this man is spitting wisdom at me. But Trail, how does this tie into you being convicted? I'm getting to that point. So as we were talking, he was like, "Are you Christian?" Or he said something. I was like, "Yeah, I'm Christian. Like, I'm religious." I was like, "I'm a religious. I'm a Christian." And he was like, "No." It's like, what do you mean no? What do you mean? And he was like, "No." And I was like, "What?" And he was like, "You're a citizen of the kingdom of heaven." And I was like, crazy old man, you're onto something, buddy. You're cooking here. You're cooking. And he was like, this whole world, this whole universe is about contracts. And he was like, meaning you have to give authority for something to take possession of you. For instance, you have to give authority to the music you listen to access your thoughts, your heart, your emotions. Think about it. When you listen to sad music, you're sad, you're depressed. When you listen to angry music, you're angry, you want to punch a kid in the face. Any type of music genre you listen to, happy music, you feel happy. So I knew, like, I was understanding where he was going with this, and he was like, by saying you're a citizen of the kingdom of heaven, you're taking authority and power back. By saying, just by saying that, like, I am a citizen of heaven, it's like I come from the highest place in the universe. Like, I have so much power on this earth that God gave to me. And I was like, all right, old man. All right, old geezer. You're spitting, you Australian freak. And, yeah, at the end of the conversation, there were three things I took away. And this is what convicted me. Not once did he spit hate about a specific religion, a specific race, a specific region of the world. Only thing he truly like talked bad about was Satan. And that's something I like paid attention to because unfortunately a lot of people in this world like to spread hate, but he didn't. So that's one. Two, I was like, man, this dude is like more of a Christian than I am. Like this man knows his history. Like guys, this conversation, he was blowing my mind. I can't even like if I were to tell you the whole conversation, this video would be like 30 minutes long. But he's talking about all of these things and like he's walking that Christian walk and not your typical Christian walk that like talks bad about gay people and like if you drink alcohol you're going to hell. Like not one of those like a real Jesus follower. That's two. And three, give me a second. I forgot. God dang it, I forgot. Hold on, give me a second. I remembered the third point. Third point was he was just loving. Kind of ties back to the first one where I say he wasn't spreading hate. Like, even though this guy seemed crazy, which in hindsight he's not, he just knows a lot. There comes a point of knowledge to where you know so much, you just seem crazy because you know so much truth in a world full of lies. And yeah, I knew he wasn't crazy. He seems crazy to like the normal person, but like if you just listen to him and hear what he has to say, he just knows so much and it drives me insane. But yeah, after that conversation and he left, one of my coworkers walked up. He was like, "That man was yapping, huh? He was a yapathald, wasn't he?" And I was like, "No, bro. Like he just blew my mind. Like I'm here rethinking my whole existence as a Christian. Like wow, that was a stand-up individual who like convicted me to become a better Christian. And ever since then, I've been reading my Bible more. I've been praying every morning, every night. I've been trying to stay close to God. So yeah, that's my message to you guys is if you are religious or whatever, spiritual, if you believe in a higher power, really make an effort to get to know that higher power and to just accept love. That's literally the only way to go in life. If you fill yourself up with hate, you're going to be miserable. If you fill yourself up with fear, you're going to be terrified to do anything. If you fill yourself up with anxiety, you're going to be terrified to even do anything, kind of like fear. All these emotions, they just don't have good outcomes. But if you spread love and love only, the outcome is who knows. For me, I believe you go to heaven for spreading love and believing in Jesus Christ. But if you're just spreading love, such a strong positive emotion, and you guys know how karma works, what goes around comes around. If you're spreading all this love and positivity, who knows what you're going to receive? So spread love. But yeah, guys, that was my interesting interaction. And I have so many of these interactions I get. Like anytime I go out in public, I just randomly have people just come up to me and talk to me. It's so crazy. It happens like so often. But yeah, guys, I was convicted, and hopefully, me rambling convicted you guys to get closer into your religion, or if you're spiritual or believe in a higher power, get to know that higher power, that higher being. Yeah, I think that's everything, guys. Toodles.